Hey YouTube. I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is I went to Vikings training camp on Friday night and it was fun. The bad news is I don't have any footage from that night. It's not my fault. And here, by way of explanation, I present to you my wife and son.
Dear viewers, I am here to confess that it is my fault that there is no video of training camp this week. Peter, my strong, handsome, rugged, muscular husband, reminded me to charge the camera battery. But being the short-sighted nitwit that I am, I forgot. I know this is a dark day for Vikings fans. That is all.
So there you have it. That's why there's no footage. I do have some observations, though, which I will share with you off the top of my head. One, Tavares Jackson looked as though he hurt his knee again. He was dropping back to make a pass, and it's his left knee that's injured, and he was dropping back, and his right foot slipped, and his left foot was what caught himself, but it put a little bit of sideways torque on that knee, and then he just looked hurt, and he was hobbling around, and the play was whistled dead, and he was still holding the ball. He hadn't even thrown it. So he appeared as though he stayed in and did other drills, but he was gimping around a little bit and favoring that knee. So that is sort of the injury update. I didn't see anything else that looked like an injury, so that's good news. Tavares Jackson and Sage Rosenfels both looked similar. They were checking down some. They were throwing balls away. I think each threw an interception or two. And they both had some impressive passes, too. Percy Harvin is fast. He's fun to watch, and he caught a few from each quarterback, and that was cool. I did see one wildcat formation where Sage lined up as a wide receiver, and Harvin looked to take the direct snap, but Ian Johnson sort of ran between the snap and Harvin and grabbed the ball, and it was a reverse type play. And Ian Johnson just isn't fast enough for that kind of play, I don't think. The whole idea of the Wildcat is to keep the defense guessing who's going to have the ball. But by the time they figure out who has the ball, that buys you a little bit of time, right? But Ian Johnson is so slow that it costs you a little bit of time. And I shouldn't say so slow, but he's slower than Adrian Peterson and Percy Harvin and Bernard Berrien and people like this who should probably get the ball in the Wildcat formation. So that was a bit of a confusing play to me. I hope that's not a sign of Childress trying to outsmart the coach on the other team so well that he ends up outsmarting himself and calls a play that's just not going to work. Adrian Peterson looked better in pass coverage today. He had a really nice block and hold, held his own against Ben Lieber at one point in a drill that's just designed for one linebacker to try to get to the quarterback and for a running back to block him. Chester Taylor still looks better blocking. Klein Sasser looks great blocking. But Peterson looked better than he did last week. So that's encouraging. Other stuff I noticed. People in the stands, the fans, it was sort of annoying. It felt like they were rooting against Tavares Jackson and for Sage Rosenfels. And if you've got a preference for the quarterback for the Vikings, that's fine. My preference is whoever lets the Vikings win more games. But it felt like it went too far to me. It felt like there were Vikings fans cheering against a Vikings player, and that doesn't sit well with me. So if you want to come to training camp and have a preference, that's great. But if you're going to sit there and cheer when Tavares Jackson hurts his knee, or laugh when he throws an interception, then as far as I'm concerned, you can leave. The Vikings team does not need fans like you. So if you're a jerk, there's the door. That's my little soapbox, and I'll get off of that now. Anything else about training camp? No, not really. It was sort of uneventful, other than those few little things I mentioned. There were fireworks afterwards, which is fun. I bought a little Vikings keychain, which is like $3 and cool. And yeah, it was a fun experience. I went twice this year, and it's the first year that I've gone to training camp. But I think that I will go again. It's a bit of a drive down to Mankato, but it's fun to go see. So that's pretty cool. Tomorrow is the first preseason game. It is Tennessee versus Buffalo in the Hall of Fame week preseason game. I will be watching that. I don't think I'll watch the whole thing, but it'll be interesting to see how Vince Young does, how Buffalo's running back Fred Jackson does. He's the guy who's going to be the guy while Marshawn Lynch is suspended. A few other things. I'm a little interested in seeing how Tennessee's passing game goes, see if Justin Gage is going to be a wide receiver to keep an eye on as a fantasy football player this year. And it's football on TV, and it might not be real, but it means we're close. The regular season is just about a month away, and I'm very excited for that. So that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.